Hello and a big welcome to the channel. I'm the Most Bald Madman and this is qualifying ahead of the 2023 Miami Grand Prix Round 5 in the Formula 1 World Championship calendar this year. Please do drop me a like, guys. It really helps out the channel. Big ups to Jamza for the raid earlier on this afternoon. So we pay a bit back, don't we? We give it a little bit back. Now, big ups earlier for the raid. But yeah, please do subscribe as well if you are into Formula 1. We've got the live timings ready. I'm ready, and we're about 12, 13 minutes away from the beginning of qualifying. And it's Red Bull. And it's Red Bull. And it's Red Bull. It's Red Bull. It's Red Bull. It's always Red Bull. It's going to be Red Bull. It is Red Bull era. But can Ferrari turn up when it matters? Can Mercedes turn up where it matters? Where are Aston Martin? Also, Albon looking quick in the Williams. We had Bottas in the top 6 in practice earlier on. Can he get in the top 10 in quali today? Sky are just showing some replays from practice earlier on. They're taking a lot of curve there in turn 15, the tight, twisty middle part of the lap. Yes, Gav's in. Sean's in. It's go time. It is Sean. CMZY. It is go time. Farhan was in before. Shows your airline. There you go. What are you saying? Now, get on camera. Yeah, I'll post the link in. Get on. Show yours. And bear in mind, I'm about 8 years older than you. So, you know, we're all right, yeah. We're all right, yeah. It's grown back a bit, so we're all right. Nah, if he was on StreamYard, I'd send you a link in it. If he was on StreamYard, I'd send you a link. Get in, mate. Co-commentate the thing. But yeah, we're just seeing there was a lot of mistakes going on in FP3 earlier this afternoon, about 3 hours ago. A lot of drivers going wide, especially at the hairpin turn 17 as well. A lot of people out braking themselves, locking up the front wheels, going straight on into the runoff area. And we've seen spins. We've seen a lot of low grip as well. You know, we've seen a crash at turn 7, Leclerc putting in the wall. We've seen Hulkenberg nearly spin at turn 7 as well. And a massive moment for Lando Norris going into turn 4 at like 150 mile an hour. He nearly had a massive incident. But kept it together. Your airline's normal. We know it is, Sean. You're all right, mate. We know it is. Ted Kravitz dipping about in the pit lane. Let's hear what he's saying. But yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. Now it starts to get real. We've done the practice sessions and we're on evening settings in Miami. 9 p.m. quali. Probably the latest qualifying session of the season. Maybe the US Grand Prix in Texas at the end of the year as well as a late one. Brazil is tends to be a late one. But there's not many evening Grand Prix. Race start is at 8:30 p.m. Tomorrow night, so I'll be live from I don't know 10 past, quarter past, something like that. Maybe 8 o'clock, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. But yeah, the race starts 8:30 tomorrow night. Qualifying starts in 10 minutes time to set the grid for the race. Red Bull there with the Miami special livery this weekend as well. Looking good, looking different. They've added a bit of colour to it. So, you know. They've got special guest Elon Musk as well in the garage with them as well this weekend. I've Red Bull, so... But yeah, I mean, the thing is anyone other than Max Verstappen on pole here is a surprise result, to be honest with you. I mean, Max has looked superb in all three practice sessions. I don't know if he's topped all three sessions, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So coming into qualifying, obviously Max is the heavy favourite, but I'm looking for Checo. I'm looking for Checo to step it up now that now we're getting into the proper session. Also Ferrari, it's a bit scary that it looks like Red Bull could be half a second quicker than Ferrari, and Mercedes and Aston seem to be a second off, which seems a lot. That seems a lot, you know. I was saying in practice before, Aston were near enough on Red Bull pace in the first couple of races. I was saying in round one and round two, you were looking at the Aston Martin pace going, can Alonso be on pole here? Can Alonso really do this? Now we get to round five and it's like the 1.2 seconds off. Are they already dropping off? Is the development race already showing for Aston Martin, or the track just doesn't suit them? They've not done a low fuel run in practice, maybe, but they probably have. But wasn't Mercedes? Oh, it was in it. Yeah, there was a practice session. You're right. FP1 was Mercedes 1-2, which was a bit of a false dawn. Kick all the way. I'll probably end up on kick next season if this doesn't take off. You never know. Got to keep all options open, don't I? But yeah, support Alfa Romeo. Oh yeah, Alfa are sponsored by Kick, aren't they? Yeah, man. Kick sponsor Alfa Romeo. Yeah, mad one. Also, that betting site that Denver's on, stake.com as well, they sponsor Alpha as well. Denver's big on that. Yeah, Alfa Romeo have Kick, they do, man. Are you Alfa Romeo, are you? Who's their drivers then? He's on a Bottas. Are you on a Zhou Guan Yu? Stake is... Oh, is it? Oh, is it the same company, is it? Is that the same company? I didn't know that. Who are you supporting then? Valtteri Bottas. Evening, mate. Fume about Mercedes. I know, Mitch. It's difficult. It's difficult, man, because I think they should have changed the concept for this season. They should have come into this season with an entirely different design. They should have ditched their idea and gone, right, listen, we're way off the pace here. Yeah, they had a good end to last season, and that's why they probably stuck with it. Because they had a good end to last season, and Russell won the Brazilian Grand Prix, and they were on the coattails of Red Bull at the end of last season. They probably thought, no, we'll stick with it. We'll stick to our guns, stick to the concept. And then they've come out at the beginning of this year, and all of a sudden it's reset again, and now they're a second behind again. It's like, yes, Jamser, hey. You give us a raid earlier on, didn't you, this afternoon? So we pay a bit back, don't we? Bit of free advertising for me, millions of viewers for you. But yeah, nah, big ups. Appreciate the raid earlier on. And gives a little boost, doesn't it? We all need a little boost every now and then, so I appreciate it. Yes, Denver. How we doing? Yeah, Mitch is in. Mitch watches the F1, and we're on. Intro is underway on Sky. Who's your top 3 prediction for the race? Podium. Is it what I want or what I think will happen? Because they're 2 entirely different things. What I think. Listen, we're looking at a Red Bull 1-2 again. With my head, prediction with my head. I'll probably go for the I'll probably go Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc. Prediction with my heart. I want the Perez back to back win. I want the Perez. Baku rolls off Baku, bang, wins in Miami. One thing. So I want the Perez win. I want a Verstappen problems. I know I always sound so anti Verstappen, but I am in favour of having a good championship. Who wins it in the end? If Max wins it in the end, then fair dues. But let's have it interesting. And I tell you what would be interesting. Verstappen DNF, Perez win. Oh, then you go to Imola, mate, you're on it. Some insults being thrown around in the chat. I'm there thinking, right, I'm going to read out these comments. No, I'm not. Elon waving the checkered flag. I wouldn't be surprised, sometimes they do get celebrity guests waving the checkered flag. Hey, there was some celebrity guest that they got waving the checkered flag, right? About 2 years ago, they waved the checkered flag a lap too soon. Like, the lap was scheduled for, let's say, 62 laps. Man was waving it on lap 61. They're like, whoa, what you doing, bro? That's the problem with having these celebrity people who don't even know anything. Man's waving the checkered flag a lap too soon, and that messed up everything. They had to call the result there and then. They couldn't, once the checkered flag's waved, it's done. You can't just go, nah, he made a mistake, do another lap. Repping the spanners. His spanners all round, spanners all round. I want an Alonso win, mate, Gav. I would love an Alonso win. He's on the wall, mate. Alonso's on the wall. I'd love an Alonso win, but I've got to be realistic. It seems to me like Aston is starting to fall off the pace a little bit. As depressing, as sad and as downbeat as that sounds, it just sounds like to me. Yes, Philip, welcome in. Back at the Skoda. Philip T, you sound very much like Neil B, mate. What troll account are you on, Neil? Unless it's someone who remembers what Neil's saying. Unless that's Neil on a troll thing. Neil, you're on the wrong account, lad. Yes, Ryan tunes in. Hey, Ryan, one day I'm going to get you on co-coms, mate. I'm going to get you on co-commentator one day, Ryan. You know what I mean? We'll do one of these streams on StreamYard. And we'll rig you up, Ryan, because it'd be hilarious, mate. When it's a dead race. When we get to, I don't know, what's a dead race? Hungarian Grand Prix or something. We'll get you on, mate. It would be hilarious. Neil in on the wrong account, Denver, isn't he? Neil's in as Philip T, lad, on a troll one, going, oh, crap, wrong account. Now, look at the Drivers' Championship there. Verstappen, 93 points. Perez, 87. So it's all to play for. I'm sat here giving it the downbeat, Max is going to win 19 out of 23 races. At this moment in time, sounding like Gary Neville, at this moment in time, Perez is way in this battle. He's 6 points behind, which is less than the gap between first and second. In other words, if Perez leads a Red Bull 1-2 here, so if Perez wins, Verstappen second, Perez leads the championship going to round 6. So he's only got, you know what I mean? He's just got to beat Max this weekend. He leads the championship going into round 6. I'm doing good, Ryan. How are you, mate? Bro thinks his coronation can chuck dicks. Doing a lot of watch along. It's like Inception out here. Inception sing. Watch along and a watch along, mate. But quali is just about to get underway. Brilliant. Ryan Tune, mate. You're always doing brilliant, and that's what I love about you. You never say, do you know what? Do you know what, lads? I've had a tough day. He's always brilliant, is Ryan Tune. I appreciate that, bro. I'm brilliant because qualifying is just about to get underway. Alex Albon at the end of the pit lane, waiting for the green light to get this session underway. And we're off. And it's go, go, go. No. The race is tomorrow. Half eight for go, go, go. But yeah. Qualifying is underway. If you don't know how qualifying works, yes, SHT, welcome to the stream, mate. We are underway, bro. Welcome to the stream. For anyone who's new or who doesn't follow this quite as closely as I do, qualifying is split into 3 segments, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Q1 is an 18-minute session, at the end of which, so you've got to 18 minutes to go to set the fastest lap you possibly can, at the end of which the slowest 5 drivers are knocked out of the session and their grid position is set 15th, 16th to 20, you're done. That's where you'll start the Grand Prix, and then we go to Q2. The top 15 go through to Q2. That'll be a 15-minute session, at the end of which the bottom 5 will be knocked out again, and their grid position will be set 11th through 15th, and then Q3 is the pole position shootout. The top 10 go for it, and that is where the big guns come out, and we see who gets pole position. So that's how it is. 3 sessions. Yes, Gav. Williams been quite quick. Do you know what? Alexander Albon could sneak a top 10 here. He did it last season. I think he got a couple of points here last season, did Albon, in the Williams. I think he sneaked a P9. I reckon he's looking pretty decent. Did you hear Alonso's team radio while he was stuck behind Ocon in FP2? No. What did he say? Was he happy? Was he a happy bunny? I doubt it. But no, I didn't hear the team radio. What do you say, SHT, man? We've even got the tyres on now. Oh, I think this column here with the tyres, I think it rotates through a few things. So I've cropped that into the stream. It might add a little bit more statistics for you. So yeah, Logan Sargent, first man on a quick lap, but he's not pushing yet. He's not pushing yet. Logan Sargent started a quick lap and decided, do you know what? I don't fancy it. We've got 15.5 minutes to go. But Zhou Guan Yu's on it. And I tell you what, it's nice, the first sector in Miami. I think the best part of the circuit is definitely Sector 1. Definitely. But yeah, going into qualifying, obviously Red Bull looking great. It seems as if Ferrari might be the second quickest team, but we'll see what Aston and Mercedes can do right now. But teams, Alpine doing pretty well, but teams really struggling include McLaren, who finished FP3 a couple of hours ago, like 17th and 18th. Where are McLaren? And what is going on at McLaren? I do not know, but they're having a horrible weekend so far. They'll just be looking to get through Q1. He was just laughing and roasting Alpine at the same time, saying free practice is Alpine's moments. No way, bro. Yeah, because Alpine were like 4th and 5th in practice before. Yeah, man. Alpine were looking quite decent. And this is exactly what... Whoa! Big moment there for Nico Hülkenberg coming out of turn 15. Whoa! He nearly hit the wall with the rear right tyre there. Big oversteer moment. Still low grip out there. And Magnussen goes quickest then. So the first lap times of the session are starting to be posted now. And everyone's on the soft tyre, from what I can see. Norris goes second, then 2 tenths off. But it's Magnussen... At the minute with the quickest lap, Hülkenberg crosses the line, way off with that massive moment coming out of turn 15. Here comes Russell then, goes third, 129.8, half a second off the early pace set by Kevin Magnussen. Hamilton crosses the line, only 9th, so he's not really pushing yet. And Max Verstappen then the live timings are actually a good 5 seconds ahead of the TV because Verstappen's gone top and that's not happened yet. So the live timings really are live. They're ahead of me. They're ahead of what you're seeing on TV. So Perez makes it a Red Bull 1-2 as we see a replay on board with Nico Hulkenberg. Then out of turn 16 and whoa, big I think he does hit the wall slightly. Let's have a look at this. So he plants the throttle coming out of 16. Oh, if he doesn't hit the wall there, he is within an inch. Wow. He nearly slapped the wall there with his right rear tyre. Wow. And but Hulkenberg gets away with one. He gets away with one there. Leclerc looking to start his first flying lap of the session then. Or Charles Leclerc, if you fancy being posh. To me, it's Charles Leclerc. And it always will be Charles Leclerc. But if you fancy being a little bit French, you could go for the old Charles Leclerc. But it's Charles to me. Did you rate the new sprint format? I didn't really. You preferred it the old way. I think I don't like the sprint weekends in general. I don't rate the sprint idea in general. I think it takes away from the main event. It takes away from the Grand Prix itself. It's not always a case where more is better. You've got to, you know, for example, if we had a race every single week, it's too much. You know, sometimes you got to just, you know, quality over quantity. So I'm not a big fan of the sprint weekends in general, but I actually think if you're going to do a sprint format, I think it was better. I think having Saturday as a standalone day where whatever happens Saturday stays in Saturday is the better way of doing it, because then you can risk it more. So, you know, if you're gonna do sprint weekends, do it like they did it last weekend. I think it's more complicated for a casual fan. A casual fan is like, what the hell is going on? It needs to be explained better in the media and on TV and on social media. It needs to be explained so that even casual fans can understand. Okay, this is what this is. I understand. You know, I get it, because I feel like a lot of people are like, why is there 2 qualifying sessions? It sounds way too complicated. But yeah, we have got 10 minutes 40 seconds to go in Q1, and it is Sonoda's just popped up into P12. Alonso's down the back straight, a good second up on his personal best so far. But Aston are a real big mystery this weekend. Is a big question mark over Aston Martin's pace, and I hope they've been holding back, because it's not looking superb so far. But Alonso then, out of turn 17, and across the line he comes then. P4. P4 for Fernando Alonso. Fastest of anybody in the final sector, so not too bad. Stroll goes P10. Stroll a little bit off the pace there as Magnussen pops up into P5. So we've got 10 minutes to go. And Hulkenberg across the line goes P11 then in the other Haas. Yes, Carl, they should change how Monaco is done qualifying. It's always better than the race. Oh, do you know what I found out, Carl? I'm going to miss Monaco qualifying. I can't swap the shifts at work. Gutted. Oh, Hamilton hit the wall then. Wow. Hamilton trying to avoid one of the Haas cars, trying to avoid Magnussen in the turn 17 hairpin, trying to avoid him and bang the car against the wall. Hopefully he's got away without damage there, but not a great start to qualifying for Lewis. But yeah, Monaco, they should change how Monaco is done. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Monaco's a dead one, to be honest with you. I know it's got all the history and the prestige and all the celebrities are there, and it's the one that everyone's heard of, and it's the Monaco Grand Prix. But people who know Monaco ain't the one, mate. To go to and to be there and the atmosphere of it all, and to be in Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix, yeah, you know, it is. But as a racing spectacle, purely on the grounds of a race, it's tragic. It's the worst. But, you know, we can't, I can't, you know, it needs to be dumped. They'll never dump it. And I would be against dumping it. As mad as that sounds like, it's a terrible race, but you don't want to get rid of it. I don't know. It's a weird one. But Russell goes purple sector 1 then. So Russell's had a good start to the lap. It's a bad track. What, this one or Monaco or both? Because this track is the jury's still out for me on this track. You know, this is year 2 of the Miami Grand Prix, and the debut was a bit. You know, it wasn't a phenomenal race, was it? The Miami Grand Prix last season, but I'm hoping for much improved this season. And there is a hint, a rumor, a myth of rain tomorrow night. There is a slight chance of rain in Miami tomorrow night, and that would spice it up a treat. Did you know Monaco also pays the least amount of money? You ask, is it? You know, they get like historic rights and all that. What's on the circuit there? Some debris on the circuit or something, but Magnussen's still up there in P5. Ocon then out of the final corner. Leclerc goes quickest by 0.4 in the Ferrari. 7 minutes to go in Q1. Ocon goes to P6 then in the Alpine. Alpine 6th and 7th, but Leclerc going top. Not bad at all. Cut to Zhou Guanyu at turn 7 in the Alfa Romeo. And the Ferrari just doesn't see him there. Wow, the Ferrari just doesn't even know he was there. Whoever that was in the Ferrari was in entirely their own world there. Both, Anto, yeah. Yeah, the jury's still out on this circuit for me, Anto. I don't know. I'll give it 3 races. We've had one. We'll get the second one tomorrow. I'll give it another year. And if all 3 races are processions, nothing of interest happens, I'll write it off as it ain't the one. It goes in the it ain't the one category. But you never know. It could be a bang of a race tomorrow, and we forget about 2022, don't we? So Stroll goes P6 then. So it's like 2 by 2 Noah's Ark, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris, 2 Aston Martins, top 6. Magnussen's still up there, P7 in the Haas. Lucky hat. You know. It worked for practice before. I had my Alpine hat on, and they were 3rd and 4th, or 4th and 5th. I think we'll lose Spa. I know, mate. I'll be gutted. I hope we don't lose Spa. You know, there's about 5 or 6 circuits on the calendar that should never lose their place. And Hamilton only P10. Look at this. Mercedes 1.4 seconds off the pace. Mate, I'll tell you what, Mercedes are really struggling. Mercedes are struggling here. They're well off it. They're well off it. Same thing what happened to German race. I know. There should be, you know, there's 5 or 6 races that should never be in danger. You know, the British Grand Prix is one of them, but, you know, the Belgian Grand Prix, Italian Grand Prix, Japanese Grand Prix, Brazilian Grand Prix. I could name 3 or 4 more, but they are the core of this sport, and to lose one of the core races of this sport in favor of like a Middle Eastern oil billionaire track in Qatar. No, mate. And you're losing the Belgian Grand Prix and Italian Grand Prix. Oh, but it's all right. We've got 6 races in America. No, mate. They've got to be careful about losing the core history of this sport. But yeah, 4 minutes to go in Q1. And yeah, no German Grand Prix. No German or French Grand Prix this season. You know what I mean? No German or French Grand Prix. The words Grand Prix are French, and there's no French Grand Prix. Mind you, I tell you what, Circuit Le Castellet was absolutely rubbish, though, wasn't it? They want to go back to Magny-Cours. Anyway, I'm on a ramble, and Hulkenberg's got every continent, and so that's the big gap on the calendar is South African Grand Prix at Kyalami. What's happened with Hulkenberg and unsafe release from one of the Alpha Tauris there out of the garage? That was crazy. 2030, I reckon we could have lost Spa and Monza. Oh, don't. That's no, surely not. I would like to think that if those races did get in serious danger of not being in contract, that someone would step in, or even their government would step in and go, listen, this is part of our country. We can't, you know what I mean? I would like to think that they would be saved. If push comes to shove, they'd be saved by somebody or some organisation. Because I couldn't imagine not going to Monza, not going to Spa-Francorchamps, not going to Monza. I couldn't imagine that. I don't want to live in that world. I just buffed out. Apologies, mate. Yeah, there's nothing on the stream that says it's lagging, but yeah, apologies. Lewis better not bottle it. There's nothing for him to bottle or not bottle. He's just not. He's just not. There's nothing for it to bottle something. You've got. That means you've to bottle it. You've got to be there in the first place. You know what I mean? To bottle it, you've got to be at the top to bottle it. So he ain't got nothing to bottle. They're done for. Mercedes are in serious trouble here. But welcome to the stream, Matty. Mercedes are in serious trouble here. The 16th and 17th. You've got 1 minute 11 to go. Magnussen goes P3. Haas are quick, bro. The hat is working. I could not tell you for £1 million who's going to get knocked out of this Q1 session here. For £1 million, I couldn't give you this. This could be anybody knocked out in Q1 here because the track's ramping up. We've got Haas 4th and 5th, Bottas sitting P6 in the Alfa Romeo. Albon's in the top 8. De Vries is in the top 10. Sainz goes P2 then in the Ferrari. We're on board with Lando Norris in the middle sector, bouncing over the curbs. Tricky little turn 13 and 14 there. And round turn 15, he goes Albon pole. You know it, Carl. Albon pole, mate. It would be tops off. You'd never seen anything like it if Albon slapped it on pole. Mate, if Albon's in the top 10, he's done very well. What happened to Hamilton, mate? What's happening to Mercedes is a bigger question, Mitch. They're scrambling to get out of Q1, is the quick answer to that. He's scrambling to get out of Q1. Norris goes 11th. So the checkered flags come out at the end of the session. And here come the Mercs then. Russell's in turn 12. Hamilton just coming into turn 11 now. I tell you what, Mercedes are not happy. Zhou Guan Yu goes P9. He could be safe on that. Hulkenberg. What is going on? Haas are looking quick. Esteban Ocon goes P6. He's 17 seconds slower. No. He's not. He's not 17 seconds slower. He's a good bit slower. He's slower than he needs to be. Right, Piastri's out then. Piastri's been knocked out. Gasly goes P9. This is critical for the Mercs then. Russell across the line, P10. It's not great, but it's through. Russell survives. Where's Lewis then? Lewis goes P6 then. Right, so Lewis goes P6. Norris is out. Both McLarens knocked out. Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin's out. Wow, there's 1.2 between the entire field. Wow, there's 1.2 seconds from first to last. That's incredibly competitive. 1.2 covers the entire field. I've seen seasons where 7 seconds covers first to last. I've seen seasons with HRT and Virgin Racing and bloody Caterham and bloody Lotus Racing 7 seconds off the pace. Mate, this season at least you've got no one 5 seconds off the pace, mate. 1.2 seconds covers everybody. And knocked out in Q1, Lando Norris P16, Yuki Tsunoda P17, Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin P18, Oscar Piastri P19, Logan Sargent P20, so Albon through, De Vries through. What a stinker for Stroll. I mean, stinker's an understatement. Lance Stroll, mate, has had a nightmare. I tell you what, Lance Stroll's qualifying's never been his strong point, has he? Well, Turkey 2020 aside, you put Turkey 2020 in a basket. Every other qualifying session that Lance Stroll's ever done in his career, it's not been great. You know, Stroll's always been a bit iffy in quali. You know, it's not his strongest suit, is it? When he was at Williams and stuff, he was always getting knocked out. But he's had a shocker there. He's had a shocker. Hispania, mate. Yeah. We've seen seasons with Hispania and what was that? What was that 2010 season? Hispania, Virgin Racing, and that flipping Team Lotus thing. That Air Asia, Tony Fernandez Team Lotus thing. Yeah. They were well off the pace, mate. You had HRT going round with Karen Chandok and flipping Bruno Senna 7 seconds off the pace. You know, not even making the 107% rule, which you haven't even heard of the 107% rule for a decade. You know. So the whole field being covered by 1.2 seconds is actually brilliant. You know, this low key that's great. That's a great aspect of this season. That it's a different guy in last every race. It might not be the same, you know, it might not be different up front, but it's different down the back every single race because you haven't got that dog of a car. You haven't got like even a couple of years ago, you had like Haas way off it. You know, it was Haas 19th and 20th every week, and that's just what it was. And even we've had Williams where Williams are 3 seconds off the pace, and it's just Williams 19th and 20th every week, and it is what it is. This year, you don't hook up your lap, your P20, like Logan Sargent. You don't have a great weekend and don't get the setup right, like McLaren, and you're starting 16th and 19th in the Grand Prix. And that's exactly what is happening. McLaren having a nightmare, Stroll having a nightmare. I know, SHT. Manor, yeah, Manor. Well, it started off as Virgin Racing, then became Manor. After Richard Branson realised Formula One's actually really difficult, mate. He thought it was easy sponsoring Braun in '09, and then he decided to do his own team, realised, mate, this is not an easy business to be in. And it became Manor, and then it died off. But, yeah, it's unusual where this Haas pace is coming from. I back it. You know, we're rocking the Haas, and it's working. You know, what was that Russian team? I don't know about any Russian team. They had a Russian driver, didn't they? Nikita Mazepin drove for Haas a couple of years ago. If that's who you mean, they had Russian sponsorship. If that's what you mean. And that soon got, see you later. They soon got rid of that. Had a Russian livery. Yeah. Oh, are we out of focus? Oh, full HD. I don't know why the camera's going out of focus, but it is what it is. Took over from Virgin. Now Virgin went to Manor. I don't need to talk about a Russian team. Now Virgin went to Manor until about 2016, and then that was it. I don't know. There's no Russian team. There's Russian time in Formula 2, if that's what you mean. There's Russian investment in Formula 2, but in F1, certainly not in the last like 20 years, I don't think. Unless I'm forgetting something. But yeah, Q1 is done. Q2 start in a couple of minutes. I tell you what, Mercedes might struggle to get into Q3 here. This is a big session. This is a big session. It's underway now. Green light, and Q2 is underway. When that guy died driving for the Japan hitting the... That was Mana. That was Mana. Marussia. Oh, you're talking about Marussia. It was called Marussia. That's what you mean, isn't it? It was called Marussia, yeah. Mana, Marussia, yeah. Rest in peace, Jules Bianchi as well. Marussia. Yes, Sean, welcome to the stream, mate. Great to see De Vries into... Hey, listen, I said in practice, everyone's writing off De Vries, so I back him. I like an underdog. So if everyone's writing off De Vries because... Or De Vries, if you want to say it properly. Everyone's writing off De Vries because, oh, he's not had a phenomenal start to his Formula One career. Everyone's just put him in the category of, oh, he's crap. Then I back him. And I hope he does well, and I hope he proves everyone wrong. And he's into Q2, and I hope he doesn't start 15th either. I hope he can, maybe beat an Alfa Romeo, maybe beats Albon and starts 13th, 14th, De Vries. And maybe can scrape a point in the race if it all goes well. Second time De Vries gets into Q2. Yeah. But I feel like people, I've seen all over Twitter and stuff, people are already putting De Vries in a category of, he's not got it. But also, people are unfair to De Vries about, oh, he's not a rookie. Well, he's a rookie in this sport. He might not be a rookie in terms of his career, but he's a rookie to Formula One. Aston Martin will be in confusion after Stroll gets knocked out. I know, it'll be a mess. I wonder if Alonso will get through to Q3 then. They could have one Aston Martin P6 and one P17 at this rate. But yeah, Q2's underway. It's a 15-minute session. We're already 2.5 minutes into that. And Verstappen, purple sector 1, because he's the first one on a proper flying lap. He was good in Formula E. Yeah, Nick de Vries was Formula E champion at some point. I don't follow Formula E, just for the record, but... Flipping Scalextric. But, yeah, Nick de Vries has done very well in every category he's driven in so far. So I see no reason to doubt him in Formula One. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. Anyway. Not after 3-4 races. I ain't gonna pass a solid judgment on anybody after 4 races. But people are so quick to judge these days, especially on social media. He makes one mistake and it's he's gonna get dropped by Red Bull. They're already looking at the next driver. Behave. But yeah, Verstappen has come out in Q2 and sets a benchmark of 1:27.1 then. Max Verstappen sets the benchmark. Perez crosses the line, 2/10 off it, 1:27.3. 11.5 minutes to go in Q2. Here comes George Russell to the line then. A 1:28.1, so a full second off. That seems to be the general theme of it. Mercedes seem to be about a second off the Red Bull this weekend. Well, in qualifying trim anyway. And Lewis Hamilton with a handful of oversteer coming out of turn 17, crosses the line, and it's a 28.3, 1.2 seconds off the pace of the Red Bull up front. And Alonso slots himself in between the Red Bulls and Mercedes. About 4/10 off the pace, not too bad. And Hulkenberg quicker than the Mercs. Haas quicker than Mercedes this weekend. It is a good lap from Alonso, that SHT. It is a good lap. And Magnussen confirms the decent pace of the Haas, going P5. 2/10 between them. Cut to a couple of Haas fans in the crowd. And I mean, there's a bit of a gap there in terms of lap time between Alonso in third and Hulkenberg in fourth, but we'll ignore that for now and say Haas fourth and fifth. Early on in Q2. Could they get both cars into Q3? I'll tell you what, they'll shake your hand on getting one of them through to Q3 now, wouldn't they? Um, yeah, as it looks like Esteban Ocon is getting himself some space for a flying lap. Is Canada on the calendar this season? Yeah, Canada is in 2 or 3 races time. The calendar is Canada's like mid-June-ish, I think, something like that. So yeah, 2 or 3 more races than Canada. It's like round 8 or 9. So yeah, and it's one of my favourite as well. Actually, Canada. There's been some fantastic Canadian Grand Prix over the years, so we look forward to that one. Also, the scene of the longest race ever, Canada, 2011, went on all day and all night. I think it was on the back of the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix that they brought in this 4-hour rule that a race has got to be completed within a 4-hour window because Canada went on all night. There we are, following Ocon round then the middle sector through the tricky turn 13, 14, 15. It's very tricky round there, that middle sector, and then down the back straight they come. Then De Vries goes P9, but albeit 2.3 off the pace. Ocon DRS wide open then into the hairpin. And yeah, let's see what Alpine can do then. So Ocon to the line, and it's P4. Okay. We could be in a scenario here where Mercedes are like the 6th fastest car this weekend. We could be in a scenario here where Alpine and Haas are both quicker than the Mercedes, along with obviously Red Bull, Ferrari, and Alonso. I'll tell you what, Mercedes might struggle to get into Q3 here. You know, Stroll sector 1 time is horrendous. Um, horrendous. Hey, my god damn. Science purple sector 1. Albon in the Williams. What is sector times bad? You think they would do Canada next rather than come back to Europe? Oh, listen, I have seen like the route of the calendar. I don't know who draws that. I don't know who draws that up, but that is not the most economical way to do the calendar at all. Leclerc goes P4, but they waste some serious air miles. They go from like, I can't remember what it is, but they like you say, like they're going from like, I don't know if it's exactly like this, but they're going from like Austria to Canada and then back to Netherlands or something. It's like, what are you doing? But they've got to have Canada in the summer. So it's a difficult one to slot in because you can't have a Canadian Grand Prix with the US Grand Prix in October because you'd be racing on ice. So they've got to slot the Canada into the middle of the summer, in the middle of the European season. So that's why it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, Albon in the Williams could beat both Mercedes. Mercedes 11th and 12th at the moment. We've got 6 minutes to go in Q2. And here comes Sergio Perez then down the back straight. I tell you what, this is the worst Mercedes have looked for a Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff will be fuming at this. This is looking embarrassing. Mad Sergio Perez fan there in the crowd, giving it full beans for Checo winning the championship. I'd love to see a Sergio Perez championship challenge this season. I think the interest of the season hinges on that. Oh, he's clear. Oh my goodness me. He clipped the wall turning into turn 4. Oh, mate. That's mad. Perez has clipped the wall on the outside. before turning into turn 4. He's trying to take that much of the track before swooping in that he's actually banged the wall there. I mean, there's a limit, and that might be just slightly over the limit for Sergio Perez there, but he gets away with it. No damage. And look at Sainz's lap in the Ferrari. Almost identical to Verstappen. Less than half a tenth between Verstappen and Sainz at the front. 4.5 minutes to go. Zhou Guanyu starts a flying lap then in the Alfa Romeo. He's in the drop zone at the moment, then P13. Remember, at the end of this session, the bottom 5 get knocked out. 11th through 15th will get knocked out, and their grid position will be set. Please do drop me a like, guys, if you haven't already. And please do get yourself subscribed if you're into Formula 1. I'm live for every single race of the Formula 1 season, including tomorrow night's Miami Grand Prix, of which we are qualifying for right now. I'll be live at about 8:15 tomorrow evening for the race start, 8:30. So get yourself subscribed for watch-alongs of every single Grand Prix, and we get fully involved when the race is on. We go full Murray Walker style. But yeah, Zhou Guanyu then. Personal best through first and middle sector, as has Valtteri Bottas as well. And this is a couple of crucial laps coming up here for Alfa Romeo then. Zhou across the line. What can he do? Goes P10. Goes P10. Not quite good enough. Bottas goes P6, though. Alpha looking pretty decent. Also, just realised the first time in the season De Vries out-qualified Tsunoda. Get Isle of Man circuit next year. Oh, that's dangerous, that. That's... I don't think that'll pass all the health and safety regulations that Formula 1 brings with it, to be honest. They might have to build some runoff areas down the mountain. No, Isle of Man, no chance. I'd like to see Le Mans, never mind Isle of Man, I'd like to see Le Mans circuit on the F1 calendar. Imagine that. Three DRS zones down the... No, I don't think it would work, would it? Or Nürburgring, do 10 laps. Not even 10 laps, we have 5 laps. Oh, this unsafe release is going on everywhere. You know, another unsafe release out of the garage there, blocking Alonso. I tell you what, that's the 3rd or 4th unsafe release I've seen this weekend. How much does it cost you to go to the British Grand Prix nowadays? I'd love to go again. I've only been once. I saw Alonso win the British Grand Prix in 2011. I've only been to it once. It's hellishly expensive. It's hellishly expensive. It's, you know, you're talking 500 quid if you want a seat. You know, you can get general admission for a couple of hundred maybe, and bring your deck chair and you know what I mean? Bring a deck chair and a flask and get there at 6 a.m. and yeah, you could do it for 200 odd quid probably. But if you want a chair, you're looking at 500 quid plus. And it's one of them where you've got to buy it the day the tickets are released and all that. It's like a concert ticket. I don't know, man. Not for me. We've been asking what the hell is going on with Bottas. I know. Seems like he's coming alive. Yeah, we've been saying, oh, you know, Bottas is, where's he been? But he's P6 at the moment, and Q2 is coming to an end. So these laps are the final laps of the session now then. These are the critical laps if you want to get through to pole position shootout. Magnussen across the line then in the Haas. Goes P7. Haas are looking decent, bro. Mercedes might be like the 6th quickest team here. Verstappen improves. Alonso goes third. Oh, this is embarrassing for Stroll. Alonso's looking quick. Ocon across the line, goes P6. Bottom 5 at the moment. Hulkenberg, Zhou, Russell, Hamilton, De Vries, and De Vries is out then. So De Vries is 15th. Russell goes only 9th. And Hamilton's out. Hamilton P13. Wow. And this is a big wake-up call for Mercedes. I mean, if they don't even need wake-up calls, but that's massive. Hamilton P13 and out as Gasly goes P8 in the Alpine then. So he's through. And Russell just scrapes through. Hamilton shakes his head in the cockpit. And he's done for. And he's out. Eliminated. With Albon, Hulkenberg, Zhou and De Vries. Hamilton starts the Miami Grand Prix from 13th on the grid. Wow. And Russell, by the skin of his teeth, Russell by 52 thousandths of a second is in. We've got a Haas in there. We've got a Haas in the top 10. We've got an Alfa Romeo in the top 10. We've got an Alpine in the top 10. I tell you what, we've got a couple of Ferraris, a couple of Red Bulls, and one of everyone else. Wow. Magnussen out-qualifies Hulkenberg. And that's critical as well because Hulkenberg had turned up and put a number on Magnussen up until now. So I'm glad that Magnussen's turned that round a little bit. Magnussen through to Q3. Hulkenberg knocked out P12. De Vries didn't get a lap together. De Vries way out. So yeah, we've got obviously the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Ferraris, and then we've got an Aston, an Alpine, an Alfa Romeo, a Haas, and a Mercedes. So one of each, mate. Yeah, only teams not in Q3 is flipping McLaren, Williams. Is that it? Only McLaren and Williams are not in the top 10 shootout. Is that right? Everyone else has sneaked a car in, mate. Aston Martin will be relieved that Hamilton's out in Q2. I'll tell you what, if Alonso sticks it third on the grid and Stroll's down in 18th, a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? Where's Lewis upgrade? Well, both Alpines. My mistake. We have got both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, and both Alpines in the top 10. Okay. AlphaTauri as well. Yeah, AlphaTauri didn't get one through either. Yeah, both AlphaTauris are out. So it's ended up De Vries got through, but he got spanked in that session. He's P15. Zhou 14th. But Bottas threw in P7. Bottas is alive here in Miami. And Magnussen threw in P9. Both Alpines. Alpine are looking a lot better this weekend as well. Meanwhile, McLaren in the mud. Mercedes in the mud. Russell sneaks through. Yes, Simon. Welcome in, mate. What happens now at Merck? Surely Hamilton retires. That car will take how many seasons to compete? Well, they are bringing a new car to... so the rumour is Mercedes are bringing a B-spec car to Imola in 2 weeks' time. Now, whether that ends up being a load of rubbish, and they bring the B-spec car further on down the season, or the B-spec car arrives and it's a tenth quicker, but I think we look at Imola and go, right. I think Lewis is in a difficult. What does Lewis do really now? Because he's definitely not going to win it this season. So then what? You know, he's not getting any younger, is he? Anyway, I could go on a 10-minute thing about should Lewis retire, and I'll miss all the other people's chats, but that's a conversation for another day. That, but Lewis will be thinking about what the future holds. Put it that way. Yeah, those people who say Mercedes are back after Hamilton got P2 in Australia. Yeah, yeah, not happening. Is this Lewis last season? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Ask me in summer break. Ask me when we get to summer break. I don't know. I don't know. There's a chance. Any penalties this weekend? I don't think so. Not that I've heard of. I've not heard about any grid penalties and such. Definitely have to do something now. Yeah, they already had something in the pipeline, but this is like ridiculous. Now since the spring break, Mercedes are one of the cars that didn't make it to the top 10. It's just, it's not good, is it? It's not good. Join Ferrari, you know, I was talking to Dan who I work with about that. Is it out of the realms of possibility? Lewis to Ferrari, imagine that. I remember when Vettel joined Ferrari, it was massive. I don't know. I don't know. It's a difficult one. We give it... See what it's looking like at summer break, but Lewis might be thinking again about all this. I thought they told Hamilton not to expect much from this new car. Surely not. That's not a thing to tell your driver, is it? Oh yeah, we're making this new car, but listen, don't expect much from it. What am I doing here? I'm a 7-time world champion. I don't know. See what Mercedes turn up with in Imola. And see where they are by summer break. And if this kind of form carries on, he's going to either think, do I want to even be in this sport anymore? He might think, do I want to be in this team anymore? You know, does he get on the phone to Ferrari and say, listen, is Carlos Sainz all that? I don't know, man. I don't know. I am on the side of thinking he'll see this rough patch through, and he'll stay at Mercedes and see it through, and just grin and bear it and go through a couple of seasons of this, of this, and just go through a couple of seasons of it, and hopefully come out the other side of it, 2024, 25. But I don't know. I don't know how much motivation he's going to have left at 40 years of age, and Verstappen running away with it year after year. I don't know, man. Hamilton looks weird in red. We'd soon get used to it. It'd be incredible. News story. If Lewis went to Ferrari, I don't know. Because he's like a Mercedes ambassador and all that. He'd be earning mega money from Mercedes. I don't know. It's a difficult one. Everyone wants to drive for them. Don't think Lewis is any different. But Ferrari, you have a go, don't you? But get Hamilton to McLaren with Norris. Mate, McLaren are dead. McLaren. I'd rather be in the Williams than in a McLaren. It's not looking like a clever move from Piastri, getting himself out of the Alpine thing to go to McLaren. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I bet Piastri sat there thinking, I've picked the wrong team here. If you had one last chance, yeah, remember, that's the thing, Simon, he ain't getting any younger. You know, he's knocking on the door of 40, Lewis. But then again, the other side to that, Simon, is, you know, Alonso is the other side of 40 and he's still got it. I mean, not every driver's Alonso, though, is it? But listen, Lewis, if he wants it, has got another 3 years. If he wants it, he's got another 3 years, I think, Lewis. Now, what does he do? Does he think, listen, I'm done with this? Does he fancy a one more move? Stick with it? I don't know, mate. But anyway, Q3's underway. It's a conversation for another day. But Alonso just continues to stay in the pack with those two teams. Yeah. Could you ever see Lewis in a Red Bull? Nah, no chance. No chance of that. More chance of me driving for Red Bull than Lewis Hamilton. No chance. I reckon he sticks with it, Carl. I know it's not like the exciting answer to give. It's not like the, controversial, exciting answer to give. But I reckon he'd probably just do another 2 or 3 seasons with Mercedes and hope that it comes good again. And if it doesn't, then he just retires with his 7 championships in the end of 25 and goes, there you go. I know it's not a thrilling answer to give, is it? But I reckon that's the most likely scenario. But if it does, if it's really bad like this, where he's not even getting into Q3 and stuff, and it starts getting embarrassing, then then he might have second thoughts. Max to quit F1, yeah. No, those headlines are a load of rubbish. I'm not staying in Formula One if they keep changing the rules. Mate, you're being paid 40 million a season. You're staying, bro. Perez goes P1. So, Perez sets the benchmark then. Let's get back to the action on track. And Alonso only 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second off the pace. So, Perez sets the early benchmark of a 1:26.8. Alonso 3.5 tenths off it. Russell a full second. Ocon a second off. Gasly on a 1:27.7 then. So 9 tenths off. Slots into P3 for now. Alonso does look quick. And Leclerc's gone purple, middle sector. Magnussen across the line. Then what can Kevin do? P3. Go on then, Kevin. Hey, Kevin pole like in Brazil. Leclerc's messed it up in turn 17. Leclerc's locked up and gone wide in turn 17. And Leclerc was purple middle sector as well. Sainz goes P3 then on a 27.3. Half a second off the pace. 7 minutes to go in Q3. Pole position shootout in Miami. Verstappen's not set a time. Verstappen's only doing 1 run. And Bottas only doing 1 run. Wow, Verstappen only doing 1 run. Oh no, he made a mistake. Okay, so he did go out of the garage, and we saw that oversteer moment. Wow, so Verstappen losing the rear end in turn 5, turn 4, turn 5. Ooh. So now Max has only got 1 shot at the prize, mate. Ooh. Look at the time difference between Alonso and Magnussen. Only the 7 tenths. Yeah, but more than half a second. Right. This is interesting, this is interesting, Hey, Fernando. Oh my God, Fernando could be rapid here. This is really interesting. Verstappen's going to have a 1 shot. Verstappen's got 1 shot at this. Perez looking good. Alonso's come alive. Magnussen's top 4. And Leclerc's made a mistake. So Leclerc's got a lot more in the tank. Verstappen's a complete mystery. And Bottas to grab pole. Seriously, this is interesting, This is interesting. 5 minutes to go in Q3. Magnussen embarrassing Alpine and Mercedes. He is. Magnussen is doing a phenomenal job at the moment. I mean, like I say, the gap between, you know, there's a half a second between Sainz and Magnussen third and fourth. So I imagine you might get a couple of drivers will slot into that gap. But still, you know, Verstappen and Leclerc will probably push Magnussen down a bit. But if Magnussen can beat, listen, if Magnussen can beat Gasly, Russell, Ocon and Bottas, what's that, P5? You know what I mean? What, P6? You know, Magnussen can get himself a P6 here. Behind both Ferraris, both Red Bulls, and behind the Aston. You know, Magnussen can line up P6 here. Check the car, says Leclerc. Hit the wall in 70. Oh. And the exit of turn 16. I expect Bottas to be quicker than Magnussen. Bottas could end up lining up P6 here. Let's have a look. This is what it's all about as Max comes out on the shiny set of soft tyres then. So this is it. So Max with the one-shot shootout then. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Here we go, mate. This is because we had Leclerc messing the lap. Basically, Verstappen and Leclerc both fluffed the first attempt at this, and so the pressure is on them to hook it up this time. With 2.5 minutes to go, you've got to hook it up now. Vettel was brilliant at one run. Yeah, back in his Red Bull days, they used to send Vettel out with 2 minutes to go and he just will slap it on pole. At the moment, Alonso's only, well, virtually exactly the same time as Perez in Sector 3. That's good going. Here we go then for the final runs. And Leclerc is first man to start his flying lap. Leclerc's attempt at pole position begins then with 2 minutes to go in Q3. Down to turn 4 then, throws it into turn 4, turn 5, 6. It's like maggots and... Oh, he's spun! Oh, Leclerc's going to have a big crash! Oh, it's gone! He's crashed and Leclerc's out! Oh, Leclerc with 2 crashes in one Grand Prix weekend and we've not even got to the race yet. Leclerc is gone! Charles Leclerc out of qualifying. And the thing is, what's going to happen now in terms of... The thing is, that might be the grid. 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 Red flag. That might be the grid. That might be the grid. That might be the grid. Right there. That might be the grid. Verstappen might start P9. That might be the grid. Oh my God. That is going to be the grid for the Miami Grand Prix. That's the grid. Leclerc's binned it and stopped everything. And Verstappen will be fuming, mate. Verstappen will be fuming. They won't restart that. Perez has got pole. Alonso on the front row. Sainz, Magnussen P4. Gasly, Russell, Leclerc, Ocon, Verstappen P9. Championship on. Let's go. Buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Oh, Leclerc. I tell you what, Leclerc is error prone, mate. You know what I mean? Leclerc can smash that car up 4 or 5 times a season, mate. You ain't going to win championships. Oh, I tell you what, mate, this has just thrown an absolute double 6 for the race, this. This is exactly what we want, Dougie. With 1.5 minutes to go, Leclerc in the wall and sets the grid. Verstappen will be fuming. Verstappen will be absolutely livid at this. Perez for the championship car. I tell you what, Perez needs to capitalise on there, mate, and Max will be fuming. Perez needs to capitalise on this. Red flag. That probably helped Russell, yeah. You know, Magnussen's going to line up on the second row of the grid. Damn. Do you know what they're saying on Sky as well? They're going, this is, you know, Leclerc was bombing into turn 4 flat out, and that sparks were coming in, the car looked really good. And my brother went, oh, this is Formula 1 at its very best. And then he spun round and hit the wall. Formula 1 at its very best. Driver bins it immediately after he says it. Talk about a jinx. Damn. Daniel, mate. Leclerc's just binned it. Oh. Perez pole, Verstappen P9. Inject that in your veins. Let's have a Miami Grand Prix tomorrow to remember. 8:30, lights out tomorrow night. I'll be live 15 minutes before, 20 minutes before, do a bit of a build up. Oh mate, I cannot wait. Alonso front row, Dan. Perez Alonso front row. Look at Kevin P4. It's the Haas, it's the cap. Looky at, mate. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas is P4. We've got Hamilton down here in 13th. I tell you what, mate. Hey, Jamza, mate. Massive drama. If you're just checking in now, you need to rewind the stream about 2 minutes. You need to rewind the stream about 2 or 3 minutes, mate, because it went off. Or should I say, Leclerc went off. Ferrari driver binned it in the wall, and that is now your grid. Max Verstappen, reigning world champion, P9. Oh, mate. It is a madness. It's a madness. Lad, this championship is on. This championship's on now. Perez pole, Verstappen P9, Alonso front row. Oh, mate, this is the ironically enough, Leclerc crashing here. It's done us a godsend. He has done us a godsend. He might have not done himself a godsend. He might have not done Verstappen over. But I tell you what, as far as this race goes tomorrow, it has just, my interest has just ramped up to 100. To 100. It's a madness, Farhan. It's a madness. Perez Alonso front row. Let's have it. Wow. After Leclerc made that error in his first lap, the thing is, Leclerc has crashed twice this weekend alone. Leclerc's not, you know what I mean? He's a bit error prone. You know, I tell you what, this has just been spiced up a treat. And then, if we have a little bit of sprinkling of rain as well, which is the saying, rain might be on the horizon tomorrow evening. Imagine we get a sprinkling of rain and Alonso on the front row. Yeah, I think you better join me at 8:30 tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I'm going. Listen, we are set for one hell of a Miami Grand Prix tomorrow. 8:30 lights out. I'll be live 15-20 minutes before that. Please do join me. If you haven't already, please do drop a like on the stream, because that can really help me out. Hopefully get a few more viewers in for the actual race, tomorrow. Albon podium in the works? Definitely. I back it. Albon from 11th to the podium with a bit of rain? Why not? Why not? Yeah, catch you tomorrow, Dougie. Yeah, and anyone new, subscribe if you're into Formula 1. Subscribe if you're into me absolutely losing it when something dramatic happens, because that might happen tomorrow. Leclerc is a bit win it or bin it. He is, Sean. I actually, that's a great way to put it. That might be the grid. That is the grid. That is the grid, mate. That is the grid. Matt Gallagher in the bin. Right. Listen, I'm going. That might be the grid. It is the grid. Perez on pole, Alonso second, and Verstappen P9. Let's have it. Right, I'm going. I'll be back tomorrow about 8:15. Join me. And, mate, get in. We've got a good race on our hands tomorrow. Alonso for the win. Verstappen P9. Let's see. Oh, mate, buzzing. See you tomorrow for the Miami Grand Prix. Join me. Better I do.